Hey, though. So, chilling at my homeboy house, and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, yeah. Getting it.
We go on YouTube. Rangers trying to call out Chris Brown.
This niggas right here, man.
What
These
the
niggas
fuck?
right here.
They talking about he got no Doug. He can Dougie, but it ain't that good. So I watched their video. They ain't that fucking good.
Ain't good at all.
So we about to show them how to Dougie
Let's get
the
it.
right way, and we gonna do it to their song that they listened to in the video. Disrespect.
These niggas disrespected Chris Brown, right?
We about to get it.
Let's go.
We go.
Sorry, J9.
I walked in a bunch of a dark black shades. Ice cream jacket and my hat says amazing. I'm a cool cat, but I'm about my money. I'm an urban nigga, hopped out and do the junkie. Pressure the wanna be, do what I wanna do. Two bad models fighting over me like what it do. I'ma pick this one or I'ma pick that one. That chick is so bad, so I'ma take action. I know. I get that pretty much wherever I go. See, baby, I'm a rock star. Everybody love me. My friends call me cocky, but you can call me Tucky. Let me call me Tucky. You can call me Tucky. Let me call me Tucky. Neck, no wrist, see shotgun, make my chicks foreign. Excuse me, Miss Roxanne. I beat it so loud, you think I'm a rock band? I'm a rock band. No Maryland veteran, at this rap shit, no Federland. Never here trying to tag you gon' need a spray can, cause y'all ain't seeing me. Better clear your rain gas, celebrating stuff like a holiday. Word up, Travis Porter in the club, all the way turned up. Get it while you can, cause we go fast. Don't be thinking I ain't looking like a CEO ass. With it when I met her, talking about a blind date. She was like, all they do is walk up like a mind state. I might wipe her up, long as shawty cooking right. Hit the 21 and up clubs and they be looking like I know. I keep that pretty much wherever I go. See, baby, I'm a rock star. Everybody love me. My friends call me cocky, but you can call me Tucky.
What you know? What you know? But I'm just,
motherfucker?
I'm just playing. Y'all dudes is filthy as hell. I wish I could jerk like y'all. Y'all are just amazing. No disrespect.